Anybody who sells off our airports, sells off our airline, sell off our land in Boxside, sell out our street and make us have to pay a toll to drive on it, mash up our school system so 82% of our kids are failing, they are the enemy. I want every community in Jamaica to look, smell and feel like a tourist resort. I want Tivoli to look like a tourist resort. No Jamaican politician has ever told you the truth. What they tell you are promises. I've looked at our budget carefully in the government, and what I realize is most of it is waste, theft and poor quality services. A police officer must be somebody who is highly regarded in the community. Right. He must drive the best car. Bustamante said, bring in the dreads dead or alive. I can tell you this. If tomorrow morning we vote in the orange crew, it's just the green crew in an orange color.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode Free Speech People Talk, our Pocket Productions, and today we have a very special guest in the house. Indeed, we have with us Mr. Joseph L. Patterson, the president and founder of the UIC of Jamaica. Mr. Patterson, I want to thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Us today.
Yeah man, my pleasure.
Indeed, a pleasure. Alright, so the UIC, I'm sure people like to know more about the UIC. I mean, I see your content on TikTok. You are indeed a very knowledgeable person, and you seem well informed, and you have a lot to say, and I really love your content.
Sure,
I really do love your content.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And you have a large following as well, which is very nice. I'm glad people are actually listening to you, because I know some of the time, like speeches like that just fly over people. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm glad people are listening. So can you tell us more about the UIC?
Sure. Well, the UIC is Jamaica's official third registered party. We came into being on officially the 2nd of December 2019.
Okay.
But we're around before that in terms of the prep work necessary to build a movement.
Right.
You know, building a political party in Jamaica is very, very difficult and requires a lot of work. So we are a unique party in that we're really more a movement than a party. We're only a party because the system, as it is, the colonial system, requires us to be a party. Right. But we're a movement. And our movement is committed to protecting the rights of all Jamaicans. We're really about sovereignty, protecting your sovereignty as an individual, and then protecting our sovereignty as a collective.
Right.
So the collective is known as Jamaica, but we are sovereign individuals.
Right.
So we want a system of governance that is going to protect you from, for example, when there's another medical emergency, as we say, nobody has the power or authority to infringe on your life, liberty, or property rights. So, for example, we'll protect your bodily autonomy. So nobody can inject you with anything because they think they should.
Right.
We'll protect free speech.
Right.
So you might not agree with me and I might not agree with you, but the world needs to hear us both.
Right.
And decide who they want to follow.
Right.
You shouldn't have a system of governance where government can shut down one set of people because they don't like what they have to say. The best form of governance is one where everybody is free to share what they think is important. Now, you might consider it misinformation or malinformation or not factual or untrue. That's fine. Let those who claim to know better explain why what you think is right is not right. So we want to protect free speech, freedom of movement, so no more anything lockdowns and that kind of stuff, not acceptable.
Right.
Freedom of association, you can gather with people if people want to gather with you.
Okay.
Freedom of movement.
Right.
No authority figure should be able to stop you from moving around in your society.
Agreed.
As long as you're not infringing on anybody else's life, liberty or property rights. So our party comes from the ethos of protecting your rights as a person. Now, most political parties are different. They believe in government having the supreme power over the people. We don't accept that. Government is here to be a servant of the people, not a master of the people. And the role of government is to protect your rights, not to infringe on them. So the moment government starts to infringe on your right, it ceases to be government and has become a god. And we must smash that down.
My gosh, Mr. Patterson, you're really saying some things.
Yeah.
You are really saying some things. I mean, if it is that we have someone in power with that mindset and execute what you're saying, trust me, I have no doubt that Jamaica
would flourish. As a matter of fact, the reason why Jamaica is not a poor country. It's a poorly run colony. So Jamaica remains a colony of anybody who wants to colonize us, be it Britain, China, or anybody. Because the government we have is a sellout government. It will sell us to anybody, the highest bidder. So it's not like our government that we have sell us to just the US or to the UK. Anybody who come with money, they will sell us to them. So what you want is a system of governance where the government cannot sell you.
Yes.
So the Constitution must be one that respect your rights from day one. And the entire system of governance must be designed for you to be the maximum that you can be. So you need maximum freedom and maximum security.
Sure.
Yeah? So the police should work in a way where it does three things. It protects you, it serves you, but most importantly, it must respect you. And what we have today is a brute force police that doesn't respect the people because they still operate of a colonial mindset where we the people are not that important. If you notice, the police are there to protect the politicians. They sometimes even protect criminals because they're in collusion. So what you want is a system where the police is really a servant of the people and is not under the control so much of the political directorate, but is under the control of the Constitution that says your goal, your objective, your mandate is to respect the people's rights, protect the people's rights, and serve the people as their loyal police. And so if you have a proper police service, we call it a police service on a force. And if you have a proper education system, and what do I mean by that? Education is only education if it moves you from darkness into light. What we have today is not an education system, but a schooling system, which is meant to brainwash and manipulate. So it brainwashes you into not understanding your rights. It brainwashes you into giving power to those who think they're in authority. It brainwashes you into not having an understanding of your mind, body, and personality. You don't know how to build good, solid relationship with your spouse, with your partners, with other people. You don't understand money and economics, so you're manipulated by people like the finance minister and so on. So you want a true education system where you get true education, so your mind is liberated.
Think on your own.
Absolutely. So that's why the UIC focuses on three things. Unity, because without unity we're weak. That's why we were caught up into slavery, because they went there and our licky leaders then in Africa sold us out because, and they were divided into tribes. So they were not united. So the UIC want to unite the people around good governance. If you have good governance, everything else falls into place. So unity, liberty, and empowerment are our three calling cards. Unite around good governance for liberty. Liberate the people to be able to to achieve their maximum potential. And empower the people with the skills and competences they need to be highly productive, because that's when you become prosperous. Without productivity, you can't be prosperous. No matter what. So if you have a prime minister or a politician who come and promise you prosperity without explaining how you're going to get productivity, he's a false prophet. He's a fake. And that's what we have gotten. A fake promise of prosperity, which has not materialized except for those who have control over our economy. And who has control over our economy? It's very simple. The PSOJ oligarchs. They own the two-party. They fund their campaign, allow them to use that money to buy the licky people that they can buy, win government, and then steal our money and make themselves richer. That's the system we've been living under for the last 80 years. Prior to that, it was a similar system, but it was the colonizers who fully controlled things for 400 years. And how did they run things? They divided us into tribes, the colonizers. They withheld education from us to keep us ignorant. And then they mastered our economy and built what you call a master slave economy, where a few people extract the wealth of the majority. The same thing today, except that now the colonizers have agents that we call two colonial parties. And the PSOJ is the main manager of that organization. And what they've done to us is to trick us into coming into two tribes, a green tribe and an orange tribe. And we'll fight each other perpetually, consistently, even aggressively, to the point where in 1980 we killed 800 of ourselves, murdered 800 of ourselves. And I'm saying it's time for us to move away from that. We cannot afford to be divided by hostile tribes anymore.